Councillor Robert Doyle. Now, these oBikes.
Yeah.
I had the head of marketing for oBikes in the studio with me. He said he wants to talk to you, wants to work with you. Is that going to happen? Or
Well,
have they gone?
They have been talking to our officers now for 2 months. We feel we have not made much progress. Now, look, to be honest, it's become something of a game, not to do with oBike, but people leaving them in strange places. But that's partly because of their model, that they're not docked anywhere.
Well, he says they go and pick them up if they're more than 5 days.
Oh, nonsense. You know, that's absolute nonsense. You know, I walk out into Clarendon Street near home, and there's a pile of them that have been lying outside the Coppersmith Hotel there for, I reckon, at least a month. That's just not right. And one thing that we'd want them to do as a minimum is do, for instance, what Coles and Woolworths do with their supermarket trolleys, and that is to send people out to straighten them up, to stand them up straight, to bring them back to central points, not to have them everywhere. I mean, we now find them, you know, so people jump on a bike and they ride to the middle of Royal Park and then they get off and leave it there and walk out. Well, who's going to seriously pick it up from the middle of Royal Park?
Are you going to ban them or not?
Well, I'd like to see them better regulated. If they can't do it themselves, and remember this, that they are. I don't want to get too socialist about this because that's not me by nature, but they are taking the public realm for a private business. And that's street trading.
Well, charge them. Do you want to charge them a fee?
That might be something that we do. I don't know what their business model is, but I presume it's something like Costco. That it's the fact that you join as a Costco member that actually generates their income.
Yeah, it's $1.99, I think, for half an hour.
So yeah, but it's not. It's not the hire.
Join. No.
It's the joining fee of $70. So and look, I've said before, the analogy I've used is at the moment they look like they've been scattered by a giant's hand quite indiscriminately throughout the city. They're very untidy. We're trying to work with Yarra and Port Phillip so that we have a consistent approach to them. I noticed that you can get a push message sent out to you on Twitter to say that if you want one removed, they will come and do it, and I wouldn't mind testing that. But if I can't get to a satisfactory resolution with them, then we're going to have to think about what we do in order to regulate them.
There's more of them coming. There's 1,000 out there. It's a trial. When the trial ends and they think it's working, they'll put more out there.
And there are it's not just oBike. There are any number of other companies that do the same thing.
Oh, really?
And yeah, absolutely. And look, at the end of it, it's clutter, and that's something that we try to avoid in the street. If, for instance, we believe that they are obstructing or that they are blocking the way, or they're dangerous for people with disabilities, so you can't move around, then we do have some powers. But look, I'm always prepared to keep on talking, but I'd like to see some action.
Is it a bit like Uber, where something's come along that sort of changed the parameters and your regulation hasn't caught up with it?
Yeah, and we're going to have to get used to that. I mean, this is a disruptive technology. The difference with Uber was, I think, though, that the taxi industry themselves had probably got a bit too comfortable, and people were complaining about the service, whereas this just comes in and disrupts. And look, we're used to this. I mean, you and I remember buying, records that were vinyl, and that was the only choice you had, and you bought those. And then along came compilations, and then along came, Sonos, and then along came Spotify. So now you can purchase music, in a highly customized way. And that's what happens to these industries. And for the most part, it's great for the consumer. The problem with this one is that it's not just disruptive in providing a service, because that service is already there. It actually has side effects around urban clutter and obstruction.